Good morning. So I'm wearing a shirt. It says 0 here. I don't know if I can flip it when I edit it. Let's move this. And I think it says we want 0 deaths of despair in my area. It's a Share Hope Through Art campaign. So Share Hope Through Art, me, everything is we want 0 deaths of despair. We want people to have hope. So everything I do, it's kind of like all over, but there's Mako, like community outreach, videos, trying to get the general public, which is like this, and then therapy, right? So we kind of are trying to do everything, and writing books is kind of like, let's get it out there. Doing videos, let's get it out there. Public speaking on stages, you know. So I'm actually going to take a break from dishes for a minute, just because this is really important. And I do have a lot of dishes, but this is more important. So I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. The long-term goal is doing a split screen of my reels in the morning, my dishes with the pages. And then I think when I'm done, which might be a year from now, I don't know, I'll do like a book launch at the Bridge Healing Center at the Town Mall of Westminster, and I have my kiosk where I have this book for sale. Like a book signing or a meet and greet. I can do, a lot of therapists do like free consultations. I can put that out there. But first I want to get the book done. So, suicide is the most crappy. Do not do it. Worst case, stop living, depressed, suicide. Tober Kirby wrote, "You haven't even met the best version of yourself. Not yet. The most healed, the most fulfilled, the most content. And meeting that you is worth fighting for. So keep learning and growing." In the book Life After Suicide, on page 165, Jennifer Ann Ashton, she's an MD, states, "Suicide doesn't discriminate. It even reaches into families who think it could never happen to them, which makes the shame and the stigma against it even more preposterous." So if you haven't been impacted by suicide, be grateful and just know that it happens to people that you would never think sometimes. And I know I already talked about cognitive distortions, but we don't really do much public outreach on like what does schizophrenia or delusional thinking look like. Like what does it, like if somebody thinks there's something in them or something's going on, like certain mental health disorders have a higher suicide rate. So kind of being like, how do you fact check that? How do you build, like some clients can have a long relationship with a therapist while they're well, and it's more like fact checking, like, okay, does all these things make sense? You know, no, I do not believe anyone is being implanted with anything. There's not, to the best of my knowledge, there's not a conspiracy against any individual on the regular level. I don't know about politics, you hear of, you know, but being able to talk about suicide and mental illness, a lot of people are like, no, Judy, don't go there, right? Like, it's sticky, it's crappy, it's awful. No one wants to go there. But if we don't go there, we can't heal it. We can't help people there. There's love in going in the dirty and the crappy and the mush. And we talk about like, when I did the contents, which is like a whole bunch of like, I put page numbers for all the people, 500 plus people I quoted where you can find them in the back, and it was because our septics, we had somebody not check somebody used the toilet and it was just running all the time and our septic filled up, so it was clean water, but it was like, that's when I actually got to like do my table of contents. So like, would you talk about like explosions and different things, but it's all crappy and people just whitewash it. Oh, be kind to yourself. And I'm like, you know, like we need to go a little bit deeper, right? Surface is fine, but like dealing with that crap, healing that crap, learning to turn that crap into fertilizer to grow something, that is dirty, excruciating, like hard work. And if you haven't, like, there's a page on crap explosions where you fall off the edge. If you haven't done it yourself, like I was a therapist at 29, 30. I wasn't ready. Like I'm so glad to come back at like 40, and I'm in my 40s now, but like my 30s, like life experience, I have total hope with my clients who are not in a good place, because I'm like, as a therapist, I don't share my story. As a NAMI Inner Own Voice presenter, I share enough that no one should be I'm not trying to make anyone look bad and keep it general where people can connect. So it's like I'll share like not being able to think straight, not sleeping and just thinking of hurting myself, like things like that, where it's like, oh, people, if you get too specific, you lose people, right? Because like, oh, that didn't happen to me. So keeping it general is actually like good. So those of us, John Pavlovats, those of us who live with chronic depression are never surprised when someone leaves prematurely. We know there is often zero correlation between a person's outward appearance and their internal condition. So even if you think everyone's fine, that doesn't always mean everyone's fine. There was a local video on coffee talk, like going to a coffee shop and being like, how are you? I'm fine, I'm doing good, how are you? Kids are great, right? And then the person goes, how are you really? And then they kind of like, well, I'm exhausted. The balancing of, mom, life, work, outreach, all that can be exhausting. Definitely feel like I've improved, but like, it's, every time I hear of like, I'm in Carroll County, Maryland now, horror stories happening in middle school, like, and it doesn't hit the larger level, and I'm not going to say which middle schools because there's like HIPAA, I think people can't say it, but I know like suicide doesn't discriminate, and like, like I really like, when I started Share Hope throughout in 2021, I'm like, let my kids' generation be the generation that's smarter than all other generations, and they get help, and they're like, I'm in a pit of despair, let me get out. How do I get out of it, right? They're not like, woe is me and hopeless. They're like, I know where I'm at, I can get out, right? We just need to find the right tools. Like, we got this. Yeah, but you can see people smiling, they're totally overwhelmed too, which is confusing. Jenny Young wrote, every situation in life is temporary, so when life is good, make sure you enjoy and receive it fully. And when life is not so good, remember that it will not last forever and better days are on the way. And that's like a given. When I talked about the crappy pit of despair, one of the cognitive distortions is it'll never change. I'm like, everything's always changing. And like right now, life is like really peaceful in my life. And I'm like, I am taking it. I'm enjoying it. I hope this is a long, long chapter, right? No more suicides. Do not commit suicide. Number one, it kills you. You never get to experience a crap-free happy life for the first time or again. FYI, it is possible to not have emotional pain that's throwing you down. You can, like, there is a way to transform it and grow from post-traumatic growth where it, like, I think it's in the book later, but I'll just describe it now. But there's, like, there's a really cool image of two circles, and, come on, Gravity, I don't want my book going swimming. There we go. So there's, like, we think, like, when grief trauma, it gets smaller, and there's an image of, like, we think this negative thing just gets smaller, but, like, the image is, like, it stays the same, but we can grow so much further around it that it's not impacting us as much. It's, like, they say grief, emotional trauma, all these, like, feelings, negative thoughts, it's kind of like waves that can come and go. And there can be tsunamis, like huge ones that are overwhelming, but there's a point where you're not drowning. You're like surviving and you're like connecting with others. A lot of us like have this bond with people that have had an experience similar, where there's just like this connection and solidarity together, where there's not that isolation. So number one, it kills you and prevents you from having a wonderful future. Number two, it creates crap for everyone else, right? So everyone you know now and everyone you have met in the future won't experience you and will be like everyone you know now is going to be traumatized, and like generations from now, like I know I think my dad had an uncle that died in a foreign war, like in a war or something, but like people know their great aunt or uncle died by suicide sometimes, like, and kids, it's like, we grow up, and if a parent does, there's often, like, a lot, like, an explosive, like, it impacts generations. Everything you may have done is not done, which is crappy, because I do believe everyone can be a light in their little bubble, so even if you're just a caregiver of a parent, like, there's, like, a positive ripple effect. Maybe you're nice when you go out shopping, or, like, so it's like that positive ripple is, like, gone. all the contributions you would make in the future, not happening. It adds to the crappy ripple effect, which I talk about. And the suicide crisis hotline in the U.S. is 988. You call 988 if you're suicidal. Or you go to your closest emergency room and you say, hey, I'm thinking of, like, hurting myself. And I share with NAMI in our invoice, like, in 2011, there was, like, professional bullying where I never really experienced it. Had nonstop racing thoughts on, like, what did I do? Like, what, like, it basically turned into my first, like, legit, like, couldn't sleep, thought of killing myself. And if it wasn't for a neighbor that died in 2003, I believe, where we went to the funeral, he was 2 or 3 years older. I was friends with his younger sisters. He was, like, a little too handsome to, like, talk to, if that makes sense. He was a good-looking guy, and I don't know if it was schizophrenia or what was going, like, we don't know what happened. But my dad, after the funeral, said that's the worst thing that can happen to a parent is their child die by suicide. I would say the second worst is by overdose and, things on that nature. So no more suicides, right? Suicide hurts everyone. There's more than you can imagine in your future. Gabby Caprice said, there are stars you haven't seen and love you haven't loved. There is a light you haven't felt and sunrise is yet to dawn. There are dreams you haven't dreamt and days you haven't lived and nights you won't forget and flowers yet to grow. And there is more to you that you have yet to know. So if you're having those suicidal thoughts, you have to go get help and treatment. You need to not act on it because, trust me, it's the wrong decision, 100%. No one wants to talk about it. I'll talk about it. Get help. If 988's not helping, a lot of places have crisis hotlines. I think every country has something for suicide prevention. I believe, to the best of my knowledge, and I haven't traveled over every country, obviously, the suicide, if you're suicidal, the hospital will keep you somewhere safe. Hopefully, I've heard of some emergency rooms, like, those units being not enough, but, like, get help. Okay. So that's kind of the point of the book and the zero here, because, like, one death, they're like, oh, the numbers went down on suicides or overdoses. Like, one's too many. One drunk driver's too many. Like, we need to, like, I don't care about statistics. One life is too many. I'm like, that's why we want zero. And I really do believe we can teach our younger population what's been taught. Like, that's why I quote over 520, I have 500 BC quotes, right? And it's a lot of quotes, but I'm like, we can learn from it, right? We can. We don't have to water it down. We can we can teach people to go deep. It's not that scary. So then we have a whole page on never give up, no life should end too soon quote. And if you don't know what the semicolon is, the semicolon is your story will continue. So, like, when you think it is over, semicolon, there is more to your story. It's about, like, continuing when you think it's over. I think I have a whole page on butterfly quotes, because I'm like, when the caterpillar thought it was done, and the chrysalis or cocoon or whatever you want to call, whatever, I don't know, each butterflies have different names they think, one would assume that it's over, right? It's dark, you're alone, you're isolated, right? And then you come out as this beautiful butterfly. So I think a lot of people, they get stuck in that darkness and they don't realize there's a part 2 or part 3, because I talk about stages of change, and the last stage is relapse prevention. So it's kind of like people can, I don't hear or see things to the best of my knowledge, but I've kind of put that in the universe into higher power. I'm like, I don't want to see or hear things. Like, when people say hear from God, I'm always like, what do you mean? Did you hear an auditory voice? Like, and then I'm like, it makes sense when it's like one person's like, I just felt like a man, like, saying I love you. And it's like, that doesn't sound off. But, like, some people are like, oh no, God told me blah 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 blah. I'm like, I get, like, a sense of peace, like, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but so I don't hear or see things. But one night when I was doing this flyer, I'll have to share it, where there's, like, a clear border, and it's all suicide prevention and art, and the idea is people can decorate and personalize the border, and it's got 988 because it's U.S., and I can change it for any country. one of my kids woke up and talked in their sleep. I can't remember which one it was because it was like 4 years ago. And they said, sometimes people try and they get hurt and they fall. And they went back to sleep. Like they just, you know, I was like, what? But I think like when you're trying to make change and do suicide prevention, you got to also warn, like, you may have a relapse. Like, it's okay if you try to get better and do therapy and you have a bad session, or you go back to your addiction or bad habit. Like, it's like that's part of the healing journey. Like, don't give up. All right, so now I'm gonna do dishes because a lot of this is suicide prevention. But like, no more suicides. Okay. So there's just so many dishes, and I don't. Yeah. He's like, what happens when we get a dishwasher? I'm like, well, on page 100, it's like 500 plus. And if we have it like scheduled, because we have to remodel the kitchen, I'll try to like hurry up even faster. But I'm trying to hurry. But Harriet Beecher Stowe, born 1811, died 1896, said, never give up, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn. I have a lot of anonymous quotes. Do not give up when you think it is over. There's more to your story. I don't know who said that first. I don't know if anyone does. Sometimes things are said and then somebody gets quoted for them. I don't know. Another unknown one. Some of the best days of your life haven't happened yet. Pema Chodron said, never give up on yourself, then you will never give up on others. Rosa Parks, and she was, Pema Chodron was born 1936. I think she's still around. Rosa Parks, born 1913, died 2005. What really matters is not whether we have problems, but how we go through them. We must keep going on to make it through whatever we are facing. I would change it, how we grow through them. It just says go, but one of those like Freudian slips, and when you want something you don't, yeah. But what really, I'm going to change it to grow. So what really matters is not whether we have problems, but how we grow through them, is my revision on it. Edison Prince Vizini, born 1981, died 2013. Don't kill yourself, okay? Pope John Paul II, born 1920, died 2005. I plead with you, never ever give up on hope. Never doubt, never tire, and never become discouraged. Be not afraid. Christine Kane, born 1966. Sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but you've actually been planted. You know, when I actually looked up crap and like mental health, there's tons of quotes on it. Oh, I thought I was the first one. Obviously not. There's nothing new under the sun. Yeah, so the whole idea of turning crap to fertilizer is actually not at all unique. I know, there's just so many dishes. Laurie Deshawn, I don't know when she was born, but I think she's around now, I think. No matter how happy someone may seem, they have moments when they question if they can go on. No matter how confident someone may look, there are times when you feel unsure and insecure. And no matter how strong someone may appear, they may have times when they feel like they're falling apart. Never think for a moment you are alone with your struggles. You are not a mess. You are human. And I think I did this one artwork years ago, and it's like a beautiful mess. Just normalizing, like, that's actually like absolutely fine. Don't quit. Your life matters. You are unique. Another Dr. Seuss. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. So this is a new page 101. Dalai Lama is quoted saying, you make your mark by being true to who you are and letting... Nope. I skipped the quote. Dalai Lama said, if you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. Did he say that? Did he not? It's attributed to him. Kat Graham, born 1989, said, you make your mark by being true to who you are and letting that be your staple. Jake Nodar is quoted in a YouTube video, My Unicorn. And Jake was my neighbor growing up for a few years, and I could go off on a whole tangent on how funny he is. I think he was on the Survivor shows and stuff like that, but he's one of a kind, and he's true to himself, and yeah, an inspiration. Never stop believing, never give up, never lose hope. It gets better. Had I given up, I wouldn't have a unicorn right now. My life would just be dismal at best. So believe. Shh. Yeah, it's a really funny video. So if you Google Jake Nodar, My Unicorn, it was posted in 2015. You might be able to find it on YouTube. But point being, don't give up. Like, you have something unique to offer. John Whittier, born 1807, died 1892. He has a quote poem, "Don't Quit." Where am I? A little dirty over here. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the roads you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns about when we might have won had we stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow, you may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt, and you never can tell how close you are, and may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your hardest hit, and when things seem worst, that you must not quit. I think I'm going to try to do a few things. So we finished page 101. The goal is to, it doesn't matter, but like if I get the picture pages with me, or you could like watch the video and just buy the book and read along if you want. It doesn't matter. And you can highlight. The idea of the book is it's interactive. You can highlight it, you can underline it, you can cross out quotes you disagree with. I include quotes I disagree with because I like perspective. And we live in a culture that likes, people like what they like, and they leave out other points of view, and I like to include those points of view, because I'm like, I'm definitely not the smartest person alive, and I value what other people think. Yeah, there's like people that like just read all the time, and like really are active, and I'm like, I make like like I play with my bunny, I watch TV, like movies. I'm not like always reading, and you know, I think life is a great teacher too, but there's 100% people smarter than me. Like, yeah. So, quotes and different things. So don't give up. And people, you know, so it's not new. He died in 1892, so way over 100 years ago. And, you know, but suicide also has been around a long time. And, you know, so, and oh, what I was going to say is like success though, some people really like, peace of mind I think is successful. And, you know, if you have your own calling, it's doing whatever that is. There was a video, I think I quote her, she's an adult now, but she was like 10, like 15, 20 years ago. She did this whole thing on like you finding your purpose, your calling, your passion project, and you doing it. And I think I gave her steps, but it was like, gosh, 10-year-olds are smarter than me. Yeah, but she may have had help. But it was just beautiful because it's like everyone has something on their heart that's different. And if we all did it, it would make just like a cumulative, awesome effect. Know You Are Enough is the title of this page. Jeff Foster, born 1980, said, "You are enough simply in your being." Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, 1928 until 2003. What a great show. I didn't watch it till I had kids because I had older siblings. That, you know, we had one TV growing up. And when I would have liked it, they were done with it, I guess. Yeah. If you could only sense how important you are to the lives of those you meet, how important you can be to the people you may never dream of, there is something of yourself that you leave at every meeting with another person. I think I have a lot of Mr. Rogers quotes because I just really, he's like a pastor. Like, And the whole, I did go to a couple of churches, so I'm like trying to do like hope and suicide prevention, but I'm like, I don't want to include religion. Like, this isn't like, I just want people to be alive. I don't care, like, I'm not gonna have an opinion on what they think or their practice. Like, I don't care what political views you have. Like, I don't care about your religious views. I don't care about any, like, I want you to be alive. I believe that's the right thing. A lot of churches are like, oh, it's not, you're not pushing faith. I'm like, no, be alive. Like, if there is, you know, if I got it right, my belief is like only, like, Jesus is knocking on the door. Like, I can't enter. Like, people can be like accepting or not, and my faith could be wrong, you know. But I do believe like suicide is the wrong choice, and that's, I mean, that's the only message. Like, what on earth happened here? So, what happened here? Oh, got it. I'm doing dishes while I do this because there's just so much time. There's not enough time in the day. I don't have a client till 9, so we'll have to get off at 8 to go like look professional. So where was I? Fred Rogers. Finish that one. Another unknown quote. God did not put your beautiful soul on this planet so that you could listen to the enemy in your mind tell you you weren't good enough. Place your hand over your heart. Feel that? That's called a purpose. You're alive for a reason. Don't give up. Make the most of the time you do have. One of the reasons I like including dates people are born and die on their physical, I don't know the spiritual, but like they're physically here, is because it's really neat that like we're physically here. If you're watching this, you're alive. Like, we're in the same team. Like, this is like, what are we going to do together? Because like we're in the same dash. If you haven't, I think the dash poem's in the end because I talk about like purpose and meaning in life later more. But the dash poem, it's like, what are you going to do with your dash? I'm like, oh, we could totally inspire each other and work together. We could make our dash of like time together really rock. And like babies are being born in our dash. We got old people over 100 in our dash. Like, you know, so it's kind of like, yeah, I know there's division, but like when you look at 3,000 years, like 100 years, like this time we're all looped together is kind of like incredible. And like, I don't think anyone's like, hey, we're making history right now. Yeah, what are they going to say about our dash together, right? Yeah, so that's why I kind of like including the names and the times. And a lot of these people I'm quoting, yes, a lot aren't here, but like a lot are still here. So I'm like, can't we work together? Come on, like we could totally like create purpose and end deaths of despair. And while we're at it, we could have like the same mission of like ending world hunger and like, you know, yeah, it would be so great. Like getting clean water places. Oh my gosh, we could totally like come together on that. In a different page, I have the coin. Like everyone's like this side or this side. I'm like, we got that edge. Like, can't we like agree on those things, right? But I think so. Sylvester McNulty III, who I think is still alive too, fell in love with the process of healing. Every time you let go of some pain and introduce some happiness, celebrate it. Smile about it. When you feel yourself growing and transforming, stay present and truly fall in love with your growth. Healing is such a fun, beautiful journey. So I think, well, yeah, I'll just rinse these. Which one do I do first? It's like a domino. You should see all these dishes. You'll be like, what are you doing? Yeah, now my partner's like, oh, you're making videos. I'm like, yeah, I'll do the dishes. Like, he can sit and relax because he has a hard job. Oh, this is the butterfly page. So I have a picture of the caterpillar and the butterflies. Your present state is not a permanent state. Let's turn this slower. So your present state is not your permanent state. I don't know who needs to hear that, but it's a good message. Drew Barrymore, who's still alive, and yeah, to my knowledge, well, everyone is like a butterfly. They start out ugly and awkward, and they then morph into beautiful, graceful butterflies that everyone loves. I've always loved butterflies because they remind us that it's never too late to transform ourselves. Maya Angelou, we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. Nicole Stevens, when you find yourself cocooned in isolation and you cannot find your way out of darkness, remember this is similar to the place where caterpillars go to grow their wings. Anthony Gassardi, the butterfly does not look back at the caterpillar in shame. Just as you should not look back at your past in shame. Your past was part of your own transformation. An unknown quote, perhaps the butterfly is proof that you go through a great deal of darkness and still become something beautiful. Andy Hale, a season of loneliness and isolation is when the caterpillar gets its wings. Remember that next time you feel alone. Another unknown quote, monarch butterflies will not attempt to fly in the rain because the raindrops will damage their delicate wings. They will rest and wait it out. It's self-preservation. It's okay to rest during the storms in your life. Take all the time you need. You will fly again once the storm passes. The caterpillar in complete darkness did not know it was becoming a butterfly. Always know that something beautiful can happen when we keep living. Never give up on your life. When in a crappy moment, isolated, feeling alone, crappy pit of despair, know working your way out of it is possible. And you will grow into a stronger, more beautiful person. I did do one Share Hope Through Art episode where I kind of shared that, you know, I was raised Christian, I went to Christian schools growing up, and I really thought you could pray, like, mental health stuff away. Sounds foolish to those who weren't raised that way. Like, what are you talking about, right? Well, and there actually was a church that I recently saw that said they could pray away depression. I was like, that'd be nice. I have to take a pill. And that's fine. And not everyone needs to take a pill. And maybe some people just prayer works, and that's beautiful. But God didn't have that in my story where medicine helps. And, so being like, oh, I can just power my way to this beautiful, wonderful person because a caterpillar did isn't my, like, message here. Like, it's absolutely fine if you're stuck to get help. Like, that should be encouraged. And if one help isn't enough, try another help. Your healing journey is, like, unique. Like Sylvester Not the third said, healing is such a beautiful journey. Fall in love with your growth, right? So, like, it's unlimited. Like, growing opportunities, I don't remember what page it is, but I start listing, like, mental health strategies and coping skills. There's, like, top 100 you can Google. Like, there's just so much. And therapy, we come up with new acronyms on, like, treatment. They come up with it, like, every week it feels like. There's, like, a new one. There's, like, CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. They started, like, a new one. I'm like, what does that even mean? They always have different ones, like DBT. I think that's dialectic behavior therapy. There's psychotherapy. There's behavior. It's just so many. And I'll even have people like, do you practice this therapy? And then it's like a new acronym, and I have to Google it. Like, they just, yeah. I'm like, I went to school and I graduated in 2010. I do my CEUs and stuff since I renewed in 2020. But, like, there's just, you could be in trainings forever and never feel like, and never stop. You could have a lifetime of training on every new therapy approach. And at some point, you just have to start helping people and be like, I'm doing the best I can. If I'm not helping enough, add somebody. So I have some therapists that I don't do EMDR. My first experience talking to somebody who did EMDR, it was awful and traumatic for them, and it really worsened symptoms. I hear great things from other people's experience, but my first secondhand knowledge was like they almost got PTSD from it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to learn that one. So if you want EMDR, go somewhere else, because I don't know. Like, there's only so much time in a day and in your life. You have to really choose how you spend it. Like, I remember when I was in grad school, the one professor was like, are you going to go get your doctorate? I'm like, I don't know. And I think, like, insurance pays the same for, like, an LCSWC versus, like, a PhD in philosophy or something. Like, so I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I really want to, I think this is what I want to do. Like, I want to share and make it public knowledge, and I really like one-on-one with therapy. Like, I really love seeing growth, and I'm actually, like, a quiet person. I love listening, but, yeah. Where she's I have to start trying. yeah, we'll talk about courage tomorrow because I need to go get ready, I think. I might be back today. I don't know. The next page is courage is not crappy. Then we talk about crappy comparing. Oh my gosh. I have a lot of like really amazing, strong women in my life. Crappy comparing. So like my sister-in-law, amazing. She's gorgeous. She's thoughtful. She was my son's like one of his my birthing coach people. She made a whole scrapbook of them. Like she's a dentist. She knows electrical stuff. She's funny. She's sarcastic. She's just like one of those like her house is perfect. Her kids are doing great. You know, I'm like, so instead of like comparing, I'm like, let me know if you want my kids to come over for a play date, because I'm like, learn from her kids, because I don't have her skill set. I'm not organized. I'm not, you know, she just has that skill set. And my daughter-in-law, no, not daughter-in-law, my stepdaughter, bonus daughter, amazing, gorgeous, total sweetheart, house so zen and organized, and like she's like rocking stay-at-home mom like nobody's business. Like she's got like meal planning, all these activities with her son. Like she's rocking. I get to be like bonus grandma. Like I love it. And if I start like analyzing how I was as a stay-at-home mom compared to how great she is, I'm like, stop, Judy. Leah, let's come over for a play date. Patty, learn from her. Benny, learn from her. You know, like, is in my head. I don't tell them, but I'm like, look how organized and zen it is. Like, you know. But, yeah, comparing, once you're, like, a parent, I think it's great to be like, see these strengths? Yeah. My family, my mom, and, like, we have, like, we're not, like, we have messes. We have clutter. Like, our houses are really, like, lived in. Yeah, no magazines coming here. Like, yeah. Yeah, my mom had an amazing heart, but she don't like cleaning. But I still name my daughter after her because, like, amazing heart, like, matters. But cleaning is really nice, though, because it does help mental health. But, all right, have a great day. Thanks for joining in. Get help if you're having a hard time. I hope the slow connection, it still worked. Let's see. Finish. It won't finish. Come on, button. My hands are dry. It says slow connection. It won't let me finish. Why can't I finish? I don't want to read Courage is Not Crappy. We can do that tomorrow.